Welcome back to Eintracht Frankfurt, the Bundesliga podcast covering everything there is to know in the English language about Eintracht Frankfurt. I'm Chris here in snowy, deep snow, mid-Michigan. I do have a pulse, unlike the club we're about to talk about. Had a little sabbatical, did some traveling, did some working, watched a little bit of Eintracht. We'll get into that, but John, how you doing? Welcome back.
Doing all right since my Jaguars are now top of the AFC South, but that's about all that's going well in the sports world for me right now. So I'll take what I can get.
If we're gonna talk teams, hopefully you're watching on video. You know what? It's tough being in Detroit right now. You know, we only have 2 first place teams. No, we're down to 1 now.
Yeah, just 1.
But hey, we got the best team in the East in the NBA, and
Fair enough.
I haven't been able to say that since I was still single, I think.
Yeah, early 2000s, right? So
it's a fun time of year here for sports in the United States. You got college football going into playoff mode, and NFL. Your teams are either hanging on the edge like mine, or feeling good for the first time in years like yours.
Yeah.
If there's any Cowboy fans listening, stop listening to our podcast. You're not welcome here. And I know that tomorrow's NFL is not on anyone's radar except mine, but it's not going to go well for Detroit.
Yeah, we'll see. They look all right, but obviously,
but it is an Eintracht
talk.
Yeah. Let's segue back to what's important here before we lose all 13 listeners. Eintracht Frankfurt, dude. We got a lot to catch up on. It has been a bit.
Yeah.
Of course, let's go back about 10 days and recap Champions League play against Atalanta. I was telling you offline, I was watching while working, cracked a beer late in the workday, ready to, get fired up for this one. And it didn't take too long for me to just be miserable and basically go straight back to work, beer in hand and everything. Here's the thing. Like, that match was primed for us to do well. I felt like it was one where we were going to rebound and come out angry and aggressive, and matchup wise, I think people thought put one away, and they had some changes going on their side, and we were just going to kind of walk in there business like, take the points and head back to Frankfurt. Wasn't even close to that. No. Wasn't even close. I mentioned me not having a pulse. That's a match where Frankfurt showed again that there's just no pulse here right now.
Yeah, that was truly an awful match, I think is the nicest way I can put it. It was really bad. Defensively just atrocious. Even not on their goals, just complete lack of awareness, trying to go chase balls constantly, and it allowed Atalanta's players to find so much open space. And when a team has the quality of guys like Ademola Lookman and Charles de Ketelaere, they're going to put them away on you. They scored 3 goals in 5 minutes, 60 seconds, 65th. And it wasn't surprising once the first happened that a couple more were going to go in. Terrible defensive performance, not a whole lot of life offensively either. I think, what did we have? 3 shots on target in that game. Yeah. And we gave up 7 shots on target. 21. They had 21 shots total, and that's just not good enough if you are trying to get out of the league phase in Champions League.
Yeah, the crazy part about that is I'm sitting here trying to think back 10 days or so to when that happened. I guess just 7 days now.
7, yeah.
It felt like a road match because of the way we played. That was played at home, right?
Yeah, it was at home.
That's the embarrassing part of it, because European nights in Frankfurt, like, we've lost plenty of them the last several years, but we were competitive. We took teams to the edge on our pitch, showed up with fight against really good clubs at home. and one that we had pretty good matchups against, we just came out flat. Like you said, the defense was bad, really bad passing
Mhm.
in the midfield, leaving to some breaks going the other way. Just no transition game whatsoever. Our ball recovery time just not even, I don't even know how that's measured when it's so slow. Stop button, just like stop keeping track. I don't know. But just a kind of a disappointing way because it kind of puts us behind in the table now. It doesn't kind of put us behind.
It's really far behind. Yeah.
And we're going to preview next week's Champions League match in a bit. But I mean, currently sitting 28th. 24 is that cutoff line. We're
Mhm.
below that. And given after match day 1, we were top of the table. 4 match days later, we're sitting at the very bottom, still sitting on only 1 win.
Mhm. Yeah.
I mean, we knew that our draw wasn't going to be easy.
Mhm.
I still like this new format, even though it might have been easier to get out of a group phase. I still like this format. I think it's fun to see more teams, and more unique draws for each one. It's not as easy to predict who's going to get out, but we got
Mhm.
to perform better, especially at home. I mean, road victories in Europe are so hard to come by, and now we're in a make or break situation going into Barcelona, and that's not going to be easy.
Yeah, I mean, we're sitting in 28th on 4 points. I think it took 11 points to get out of the league phase last year, and so that pretty much means we have to win the rest of these games, and especially with our goal difference, we're a -7 goal difference, so we're not going to
Which is
carry a
wild
tiebreaker.
given where we started this whole thing,
Well, yeah, we
running
started.
away. I mean, I sat here with you back in September and we're like, this goal differential is going to mean everything for us.
Yeah, then we had to go lose the next 2 games by how we won the first one, and that just completely
We're
tanked
just
us.
so good at predicting these things. It's amazing that people actually listen and like, oh, these guys know what they're talking about, don't they?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you were talking about this one. I know Matt was. Brian was saying stuff like, "Oh, this is a really good opportunity for us to come away with a victory, get a goal or two." And yeah, it just did not happen like that at all.
Yeah. So coming out of that, a really bad performance in Europe, and especially at home in the past, it's had 2 things happen. We play really good at home in Europe, and then we fall flat at home on the weekend because you just can't match that emotion and that air
Mhm.
of confidence. Or the other thing that happens is we play bad at home in Europe, and then we do really good in the follow-up match on the weekend. None of those went to form
No,
here.
no.
I mean, we played really bad against Atalanta, and then we come back at home in the Bundesliga, where the positions are just as important, where a good start is just as important, and kind of snooze fest. I know you
Yeah.
weren't watching it real time. You just watched this one yesterday. Give
Mhm.
me your fresh impressions.
Um, it was sloppy, right? I Sloppy and uninspired, almost, I would say. I One thing forgot to mention with the Atalanta match, obviously, everyone who's following this knows Jonathan Burkhart got injured during that match, and so he's out probably until after the winter break.
Have they announced anything as far as the timeline?
I haven't seen an exact timeline. I just know on the commentary yesterday they were talking about how he was going to be out till the new year, but they didn't give any dates, and I
I
haven't
think that's
seen.
safe too. There's
Yeah.
no reason to rush him back
Oh yeah,
because there
no,
is that 3-week window built in.
for sure. And with him injured and Sean Uzen injured, I think it really showed that our 2 best offensive players were out in this one. We were trying to force a lot of things wide during this match against Wolfsburg, and it wasn't really working. The balls in and around the penalty area just were not connecting at all, whether it's shots or passes. And so yeah, it was just really sloppy performance, unfortunately, from us. And uh, it kind of comes down to players, kind of comes down to injuries. And of course also somewhat down to coaching as well. Uh,
Yeah.
and so does the defensive performance against Atalanta. That's another thing where you can blame the players for it, but I think the questions also need to be asked of Dino. Be like, you're here to organize the defense as well. Yeah, the players have to execute, but when it's such a consistent theme throughout the season, there should be questions there as well. Not in terms of him losing his job by any means yet, but just, doubts are setting in for me somewhat, just with the way in which we're playing in these matches.
Yeah, a few ways I want to go with this. Obviously you mentioned without Burkhardt, the attack isn't as strong as we'd like it to be. The speed of Knauf, the speed of Bahoya are both real good assets for this group.
Mhm.
But they're not the kind of guys that create on their own and finish it.
Yeah.
Knauf uses his speed, generates some momentum going forward, and then puts the ball in a place where someone else can score. Bahoya is still kind of working out his process, but really good one-on-one, struggles to finish or struggles to find that pass to finish it. It was basically zero attack, just a
Yeah.
lot of like running in sand is what it felt like. Where you can
Yeah.
see what guys want to do, but they can't do it.
Yeah.
And Mario Götze, for as good as he is, and he's in the perfect role for us. It's just not the same without a Burkhardt, a proven finisher up there to feed the ball to. And Chanuzen really would have helped us in that one.
Yeah.
Really, really would have helped us
I think so
because
too.
we were given some space to work with there.
Absolutely.
We just couldn't be efficient moving the ball around. And on the positive side, I did like the way our defense tightened up a little
Mhm.
bit compared to the Atalanta match. Statistically, not as much punch from Wolfsburg, but I think part of that too is the way that we took away some space for them. There were a couple close calls that Zetter was kind of left on the line, but he took care of business the way we expect him to. Let's talk about the penalty that gave Frankfurt the chance to tie things up with Tiat getting his hair maybe tugged at, attempted to be tugged at. I know you and I think we both said we didn't think the call was too accurate, right?
It was definitely questionable. I think, you could see Vavro like trying to tug at Teot's hair, and so that's why when I had seen like initial like screenshots of the penalty, that's where I thought the penalty was coming from.
Yeah.
But watching the full thing back yesterday, I think it was the step on the foot, but it was very mostly on accident, kind of a
Yeah,
thing.
you put those
And
together.
yeah, so
Yeah.
it's, one of those, is it a foul? Maybe, probably. So in a foul in the box, penalty. But also, I think you could ask about the Knauf one as well. And we probably should have had one penalty at least in between them. So that's fine.
Yeah,
Whatever.
you step on the foot with the chaos going on in the box. Those things happen sometimes.
Mhm.
You pull a guy's hair, you're not going to get away with it, but you attempt to pull their hair while stepping on a guy's foot
Yeah,
and it
yeah.
goes to review. There's no way out of that one.
For sure. Yeah, as soon as you went to the monitor, it was always going to be given.
But again, it's kind of a bailout.
Mhm.
I'm not going to say we didn't earn it because we were in the position to make that happen. But we kind of stole a point out of that one just based on the timing of when that happened.
Yeah.
Felt like a loss. Happy with the point. Here's the thing.
It did. It did.
If that penalty comes first and then we allow Wolfsburg to tie it up, I'm feeling a lot worse about it.
Mhm.
I feel a little bit better about it because we stole the point late instead of the other way around. But
It's
still not a great feeling. I mean,
yeah.
it's been outside of the one match, we haven't scored multiple goals in like 6 weeks.
Yeah,
I don't remember what match that was that we had the 4-3 victory, but it's been a
Yeah,
minute
the
since
the the
we've had
Cologne match.
yeah, Cologne, that's it.
Yeah.
But before that, we're talking like 6 weeks,
Yeah,
and
it's been a while.
the bad spot to be in right now. We're not consistent on offense. We're not consistent on defense. I think the goaltending is stabilized somewhat. That's a little bit harder to read week to week.
Yeah. I mean, I think in terms of the goaltending, I'm still not going to sit here and blame Santos for a lot of things. He didn't play amazingly for sure, but I think when we see like goaltending issues for us, a lot of it's created from just defensive miscues and leaving goaltenders out to dry, and so I think that's the bigger worry in terms of goaltending.
Yeah, for me, I'm always looking at what led to the goaltender being left on an island. If he's
Mhm.
missing one-on-ones, or if he's mishandling balls, what was happening in front of him? Because both Zetterer and Santos are good enough that if they can see the ball and there's not too much chaos in front of them, they're going to stop it.
Mhm.
But it feels like they're still being left out on the island a lot.
A lot, yeah.
We were going to talk Christmas shopping here in a few minutes, but I think that that's something to look at. It is certainly what support they're getting. Let's talk about the rest of the Bundesliga. As we look around the table and look around other matches that happen on the weekend, nothing extraordinarily surprising to me. There was one that stood out: Heidenheim, Union Berlin,
That was a fun
Hamburg over
watch.
Stuttgart. Did you watch that, Heidenheim and
Yeah,
Union?
yeah, I was watching that one, and Heidenheim came back with two late goals to win it.
Yeah,
It was pretty exciting.
yeah.
They and
Um,
Heidenheim no longer bottom of the table, right? So
that was my next one. Yeah,
actually,
I
they're
mean,
not even they're in 16 or yeah, 16th now. So not
well,
even
that's kind of the
automatic
thing. Like
relegation.
there's such a mess down there at the bottom in those
Yeah,
final 4 or 5 spots that one victory like that, pulling victory out of defeat,
it's
those three
massive.
points are huge for their survival. And then who was the other one? Hamburg with 3 points on the weekend
Yeah,
over Stuttgart.
that was big with the like last second winner for them
And
to
that
give a little
that
bit of
helps us
room.
out too. You
Yeah,
know, Frankfurt sitting on 21 points after 12 matches. That Stuttgart loss keeps us within 1 point of them for that sixth spot. Um, we're not really there yet. We're at the one third mark of the table, but or the schedule. But you're always looking at the table. 3 points here, 3 points there makes a big difference. So as
and,
we sit at the one-third mark here, your top three, top four, the same usual suspects. Um, a little surprised with Leipzig being as strong as they've been. Um,
mhm, yeah.
I'm not even going to talk about them because I know we got more to talk on them later.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
for sure.
Surprised by Hoffenheim for sure, though. That's
Definitely.
one that a lot of us pegged as going down, or at least battling relegation. Any
Hmm.
surprises for you?
Yeah, I mean, obviously Hoffenheim is a massive surprise, but they did get two guys back who were on loan at Elversberg last year who had absolutely lit up. Aslani being the more notable one, and that's really helped Hoffenheim find some kind of form. And now they're sitting above us in the table, and that's where the draw against Wolfsburg, who are barely outside of the relegation zone, hurts because those two extra points and we're tied on points with Leverkusen and Hoffenheim. Yeah, we would still be behind based on goal difference, but it, I would have felt a lot more comfortable with sitting in sixth place on 23 rather than seventh on
Yeah.
21.
The there's so many matches already, only 12 weeks in. There's
Yeah,
so many that I look at the points that we dropped unnecessarily.
yeah,
When it's not your day and you play bad, that's fine. But when you drop points to teams in the bottom third of the table, it's been our calling card, and
yeah.
that's not a good thing. Um, it's been a constant battle the last few years to not just drop points to teams below us, to drop in teams in the final third of the table, and that hurts more than anything because to make those up, you have to get points from the teams above us. Now, thankfully,
Mhm.
there haven't been that many teams above us lately, but it's still a concern because now
It's
you got to
difficult.
consider points against Stuttgart, Hoffenheim, Leverkusen are never guarantees at this point.
Mhm.
So
Very hard to
I'm
come
I'm
by.
looking at the table already, saying where can we steal points back because we've given back too many already.
Yeah. Um, And I think we can steal points off of, a Hoffenheim and stuff. Maybe Leverkusen in the second half of the season, but we're gonna need some help elsewhere, and we got to clean up our performances against some of the lower sides. Dropping the match this weekend, and then the one against Union Berlin obviously comes to mind. Those are just pretty inexcusable to not find a way to pull out victories in those matches.
Are you surprised with how bad Mainz is this year?
A little bit. I figured they would have a lot of trouble trying to replace Burkhardt's goals. He was obviously a massive part of their squad last year, and their replacement for him is Benedikt Hollerbach, who is very okay, right? And it's tough going for them in that sense. They, of course, have to deal with Europe, although it's Conference League, so it's 6 instead of 8 matches, and they're doing fine enough in that. Although, of course, today they just announced that Bo Henriksen is sacked, so Mainz will be getting a new coach here, and we'll see what happens with that. They've benefited from new coach bump quite a bit with Henriksen, and back when Svensson initially took over as well, so who knows what can happen. They still have, I think, more than capable Bundesliga squad overall. Just need to find some goals here and there.
Yeah. You just spoke about getting new things. It's that time of year. So I'm going to throw a few questions at you on topic and maybe off topic just a little bit, because it's depressing talking about sad things all the time. So for your North American teams, if you could have one position player for one of your teams, no matter who that is, what would you pick?
Jeez. I mean, I don't know who, but I want a defensive tackle for the Jaguars. I think that's a very big necessity on the squad right now. I could go the Canucks route, but if anything, I'd rather just trade the players away. Let's go chase that first overall pick and get Gavin McKenna. But so
I said you get one player. You don't get to replace the whole team.
Well, who says we're getting players back? I want picks.
Yeah. Good point. Items to be named later is in a whole new
right.
roster, right? Yeah. For me, I want anybody who has a clean bill of health for the Detroit Lions, especially an offensive lineman. Please, anybody who's not going to get injured.
Injured as they come back out of retirement.
Yeah, I'm a big fat guy. I can stand on that line and not get hurt. I'll be all right. It's bad. Let's talk Frankfurt, though. All you want for Christmas is...
I mean, it's got to be another striker, right? I think it's the position where we lack the most depth. I know we have players there, but Batshuayi is not going to get starts. If he were, he would have started on Sunday. Jessica Ngankam isn't really a Bundesliga level striker. Like, he's fine enough in this Vita, but I don't think he's good enough to be a consistent option for us. And then you saw Wahi wasn't even nominated for the squad and, said it was a sporting decision. So you can see where he's fallen on the, hierarchy of players within the squad. And so it's hard. And, what kind of money can we spend, or are we willing to spend on another striker? But I think given Burkhardt's injured now, he's had injury problems in the past when he was at Mainz. That I think that's our biggest position of need is another player who can do a job up top in the center.
Yeah, if you had asked me this question 4 weeks ago, I probably would have said a defender or a defensive midfielder.
I mean, the defender's second on my list for sure.
For sure, but you get one item.
I know.
Santa's dealing with inflation and tariffs and all that shit. So this is a American built roster here, so you got to consider tariffs in the equation. We just can only afford one now. But really, for me, it's not just an attacker. It's an attacker who's going to be able to play both ends of the pitch, because we're having to rely a lot right now is we're struggling to move the ball forward. We have to recover the ball better.
Yeah.
And I think a striker who has not just the speed, but the common sense to put their legs in the right place. I mean, asking you to play both ends as a striker is rare. But this group just doesn't have it to do it all on their own. And get the ball to the striker. I'd love like a guy that can just stand up front, feed him, and he's going to make it happen. But he's going to have to do some of this work himself.
No, and you saw that with our previously very successful strikers in Marmoush, Ekitike, somewhat, even Kolomwani. Like they were able to move the ball themselves from behind the halfway point all the way up, and that's definitely something we're missing a little bit, at least with players who can then go on to finish the playoff.
The idea of that too, if you have somebody in the striker role who's recovering the ball around midfield or even behind midfield, then you have the speed of Knauf and Bahoya that can open things up more on those sides. When they much prefer being out wider like that, especially Knauf. And I think that's something where taking some of the attention off those wings and putting out someone in the center, then they can use those legs a little better and we're more dynamic. That's where we miss Ekitike more than anything, because you constantly had to keep eyes on him because he was always moving. He was always somewhere new. And we miss that right now. A little bit less extent Marmoush, but same kind of guy that you always had to keep an eye on him because he moved all the time and he could hurt you just by taking your eyes off him for 5 seconds.
Absolutely.
What do you want for Christmas from Dino Topmuller?
I want just better organization and defense, and part of that comes down to the midfield as well. But a lot of it is just more disciplined play. I think to a certain extent, he allows the entire back line to roam a bit too much and to make a lot of not necessarily rash tackles, but be very aggressive on the ball. And when you go up against sides with quality, they're going to beat you. And we've seen that happen. And so I think I want better defensive organization out of him. And
I know I'm a fan, and it's not my job to get too deep into the tactics, just trust the coaches. That's their job. But I have this little platform with about 24 people listening. So I'm going to say it. He's really bad with the substitution timing. He always seems to make the right personnel moves, the ones we would ask for, or the ones that make the most sense given what's going on in the match. But I think the timing is wrong. And it's not even waiting too long. It's just you recognize the deficiency is there. And I know there's the issue about, expending energy too much, especially when we're in multiple competitions. But if we have a tactical problem at the 40-minute mark, letting that tactical problem sit around for 20 more minutes is not going to fix the situation. When we're only generating 4 or 5 shots in the first 40 minutes against Wolfsburg, waiting to the 60th minute to make moves is not going to fix that attacking issue. So what I want from Dino is to be a little bit more aggressive with those changes. Not necessarily who, because I think he's made pretty good moves in that regard, but when. Not asking for the 15-minute sub either,
right?
15-minute healthy subs, but we only have 5 to work with, a few windows, but just be a little bit more aggressive with it. I know he trusts the lineup he puts out is the best one. Let's let it play out as long as it makes sense. But at some point, we all know it's not making sense, and he knows that too. And I know load management's a big concern, but we really got to claw back these points. And I think we got to be more aggressive with that.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that.
Transitioning to the other side of the building and the women, what do you want for Christmas on the women's side?
A center back.
I'll give you 2 things here. You get 2 for the women because
a new coach and a new center back.
That would take some money from Axel Helmet and even harder to get. So
Yeah, no. I mean, but if you're just talking like player personnel, I think another center back is kind of a necessity. We're not playing well enough defensively back there.
yeah, um, I'm certainly with you about a new coach. That's one of my wants. Um, I want a new voice.
Yeah.
Nico's done good work, and the resources he's given, I don't think anyone's done more with limited resources than he has. But it's just time for a new voice. It happens in this sport more than any other, where the voice gets stale.
Hmm.
And thank you for your service. Been here since 2020 or so, but
Yeah, I
time
think
to go.
even before then. But I think he's taken the team to his highest potential, I think.
Yep.
And at this point, you want to break beyond that and really compete further. And I'm just not sure. I don't think he's the guy to take the next step. If he were, I think last year would have turned out differently than it did.
Yeah. What did you say you want? A defender?
Yeah, center back. I know that
Okay.
Ustinstad is back healthy now, so she should start playing, but I still want another one. We lost both our starting center backs from last year, so yeah,
I know I
that's
said I want a healthy lineman for the Lions. I just want good health for the Frauen.
fair.
I think that's the biggest issue. We've had to roll out so many different lineups and weird positions for some players because we don't have a ton of depth, and health, the amount of games lost due to bad health is concerning for this point in the year, which I'm going to
Hmm.
put some of that, frankly, on the schedule. Maybe that's what I want for Christmas is a women's schedule that makes sense. Um,
The
and I was going to
injuries,
save it I was gonna save it for later, but looking at the Frauen schedule now, as I hesitate for 2 seconds, they're on a break right now. They're about to come
yeah,
back, but then there's a 3 or 4 match window, and then another month off with the holiday and such. But
yeah,
I want a women's calendar that makes sense for players to get in a rhythm and stay healthy. Because you get in that match day fitness, 3 weeks later, you're off on your training
hmm,
schedule or your international schedule, and it doesn't make sense to me.
yeah. No, the injuries across Europe this year have also just been insane in the women's game. I think a lot has to do with the Euros happening this summer and players just
Yep.
not getting a break. They're constant international breaks, lots of games, whether it's League, Champions League, the new Europa Cup, League Cups, stuff like that. Where these players are just playing so much, and yeah, like you mentioned about the international breaks, they're fucking constant. It's just like every time you get a couple games and boom, international break. And so that definitely throws a lot of people off as well. And it's just it's
You
it's
know,
tough.
and I think because certainly I don't think it can be argued that the international game for the women is still the most visible one, more
Hmm.
so than the domestic leagues.
Absolutely.
Um, I think that's still a priority for the players, as it should be. They
Hmm.
always want to represent their country, but also with their salaries not and contracts not being as large or as guaranteed as the men's side. Uh, the more visibility they get on the international side, the more opportunities they get to move
Yep.
up to better leagues.
Yep.
And so I think a lot of them push that international window so hard that
Hmm.
they come back broken or come back beat up. And it's not uncommon on the men's side, but I think more so on the women's side because that is their stage to get into the NWSL or one of the higher leagues in the world. So
Yeah, absolutely.
it's a tough position to put them in, and I know the Bundesliga has talked about it. Trying to be more scheduling friendly with times and travel and stuff, but it's got to be at the UEFA level and the international level.
Yeah. And then of course the Bundesliga expands and now we have midweek games. Obviously
Yeah,
this midweek is not because of
yeah,
expanded. That was a pitch issue, but there have been a couple this year where you've had to have midweek because now the league's bigger and you have to fit the games in, and it's just
exactly.
even more clogging up with league games and stuff. So
Speaking of clogging up, I'm killing it with transitions today. What are we been killing the arteries with, killing the liver with
Uh,
lately? Anything good to eat? We haven't talked food in a bit. Anything good to eat lately?
I mean, I had some pho today. That's always delicious stuff.
Always
So,
fucking delicious.
yeah, you're such a dad. Um, but yeah, other than that, obviously a lot of leftovers from Thanksgiving. My brother and I hosted like 12 people or something. So lots and lots of food still. It's almost gone, but got tomorrow to really finish it off.
Yeah. What about the drinks?
Right now I'm drinking a White Claw Surge, which is like the high alcohol version of it. First time I've ever had it. It's fine, I guess. I don't know. Um, Other than that, just yeah, not really too much interesting. I haven't, been to a good beer store in a little bit, so I've just kind of been drinking classic like Modelo's, Sapporos, Guinness, obviously. So stuff like
Good
that.
stuff. You said it's White Claw Surge. It's like a
Yep.
high alcohol version.
Yeah, it's an 8% version of White Claw.
I didn't know that existed.
Neither did
You're
I.
probably too young to remember Surge, the soda.
Yeah, I don't think I know that.
Oh man, it was from Coke. It was like a bright green Ecto Cooler. Remember the Ecto Cooler? You're probably
Yeah,
too
yeah.
young for that.
No, I
Yeah.
I mean somewhat, but yeah.
Google 1990s Surge. First, they had amazing TV commercials, but back in the 90s, we could actually have like pop machines in elementary schools, or
Hmm.
soda, as you guys would call it.
Yeah,
And
yeah, just soda.
they put this Surge in there. Surge had like 3 times the sugar of Coca-Cola.
Oh my god.
And it was in like
Coke already has
elementary
too
school
much. Oh my
cafeteria.
gosh. There, there,
Absolutely.
there, there were still soda vending machines in the public schools when I was back in school, but I don't
See, I
know if
think you had
they're
it
I don't know if they're
like
still
high
there.
schools and stuff, but like
Yeah, yeah,
elementary
yeah.
level, yeah.
No, yeah, no, not elementary though. But
Yeah. So I've been eating and drinking my way around. I was in Atlanta, had some good barbecue there. Where else was I? I was in Alabama. Found really good food in Alabama, really good coffee. The beer was trash, but um, most recently I was in Wisconsin for a wedding, and I got to give a shout out to Copper State Brewing in Green Bay. Um, Fantastic lineup. Like Wisconsin is synonymous with cheese and beer, and
Yeah.
those two things are good there. Um, but one of my favorites, the New Glarus Brewing. They're famous for the spotted cow up there,
Okay.
which I don't think you can find it outside Wisconsin.
No,
New Glarus is only distributed in Wisconsin, but they have one called the Fat Squirrel, and I had to pour it into like a clear cup because it like the color is just so get that logo
look at the yeah. I was gonna say that
there. Yeah.
well, the one logo isn't so.
No, it's like that perfect copper
Hmm.
color. It's so crisp and good. Man,
Nice, nice. Yeah, that
I
looks
might have
tasty.
two tonight because it's such a depressing topic. I'm gonna open a second one. Um, yeah, no, Wisconsin cheese, Wisconsin beer. You cannot beat any of that. I every time I tell people I'm going to Wisconsin, they're like, "Oh, are you gonna have Culver's? Do you have Culver's out by you guys?"
No, no, we don't.
Oh. Culver's is
At least
like
not that I've seen.
yeah, Culver's is like really, really good. Like then they call them butter burgers. They're burgers that are
Okay.
cooked in butter and on like a flat top grill, just covered in butter.
Hmm.
Um, they have a season where they feature cheese curds, and they call it Curdtoberfest. Like fantastic stuff. Anyway, cheese curds and beer, and we wonder why I'm a fat guy. I think we answered that
Just
one
means
pretty quick.
more Peloton needed, right?
Yeah, end of the year's coming. I got some metrics I got to catch up on.
Yeah.
Let's shift out of this now. The
Mhm.
Frauen are coming back. It's time to look ahead to the end of an international break, coming back for 4 matches now before the what do we call it? The winter pause.
Mhm.
What's the expectation? As my computer struggles to pull up the schedule here, what are your expectations out of 4 matches coming back? One, the makeup match at Nuremberg midweek next week, but Bayern this weekend at home, and we'll talk the whole women's preview now.
Okay.
At home against Bayern next weekend at Nuremberg. I actually like that the Bayern match is going to be at Bretanabad instead of Waldstadion. Love the big stadium, would love to be able to fill it, but I don't want to see this match played in front of 10,000 in a big stadium when it could be in front of a packed house. And I think it would be more friendly that way.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And I think you've seen when we have hosted women's games at the Waldstadion, there's decent attendance, but it's not blowing the roof off like you see at some of the others. So yeah, I don't mind it at the Berntonabad either. And games have been packed there this year for the most part, so I expect that to be the case again. That's a really tough match to come back from an international break too, isn't it? Bayern are far and away the class of the Frauen Bundesliga. It's going to be tough. I just want to see good performance out of this game. I don't expect a win out of this one at all. I just want us to play decently. Don't allow, 4 goals, something like that. Maybe grab a few as well. As for, expectations before the winter pause, we should win those other 3 matches. It's Nuremberg, Union Berlin, and then Essen, which is technically the start of the second half of the season, right? Because we played them first. So those are all very winnable games. Union Berlin will be tough, but I think we can still get a job done there. I mean, we went out just, 2 weeks or whenever it was to beat Wolfsburg. So it's
technically 2 weeks ago, but it's a whole month on the calendar.
Yeah, exactly. So, this team is capable of doing things. And I think that second is still a possibility here, right? We're 6 points out of it. That's tough. But I think at the very minimum, we need to go into the winter break and in third place. There's a lot of competition for that spot right now. Bremen's holding it by 1 point. We have a goal difference on them though. And then, Freiburg, Leverkusen, Hoffenheim is very talented as well. So I want to solidify third place is my big expectation.
Yeah, it's been a roller coaster for sure. I think we were starting to find a little bit of consistent form before this latest break. Not an easy way to come out of it, playing against Bayern side that's damn near perfect. I think, let me look at the table. 1 draw. Okay.
Right.
I forgot about the 1 draw, but plus 36 goal differential. They're going to score goals. Yeah. They've only allowed 4 through 11 matches. So they're going to score goals, and we're going to struggle to score goals against them. We know that's going to happen. So the longer that we keep it 0-0, put the pressure on their offense by holding possession, well, they're not going to let us do that. So what we have to do is just interfere with their possession a little bit, make it uncomfortable. We played them decently at home in recent years.
We have.
Even
very well.
Even in defeat, holding it close, making it tough. I think they beat us in extra time one year.
We lost that semifinal, right, of the Pokal. That was away.
That was
but
away.
It went to penalties. We had that draw at the Allianz Arena. I think that was 1-1 or 0-0 a couple of years ago. So and
there was that, what was the semifinal, the shootout? They had 5 goals in 5 minutes. Absolutely absurd shit between the two teams.
I don't know if it was quite that bad, but there were a few goals very quick. We showed the ability to match them for long periods. Yeah, because we held that one and then they just decided broke through. But then there was also the penalty shootout loss in the Pokal 2 years ago. So
Yeah, and I think the point is though we can hold it close against them. We shouldn't expect to win. I don't think. I mean, the
I don't
players
think
should
so.
expect to win, but as fans, I think we should expect to hold it close and just regain our form. Being the first match back, you play them hard and you lose. I'm not going to put any shame on that one, because the following match on Wednesday. By the way, that match Sunday the 7th, 11 a.m. Eastern time here in the States. That's on Dotson, DAZN.com. That's a free feed. Like, give them your email address. Actually, give them John's email address. But it's a free account. So
Yeah.
log in, watch the frauen there.
Yeah, you
It's
can.
going to be a good match.
Yeah, it's free to watch all of the women's games on there. That's Frauen Bundesliga. It's La Liga Feminine. I believe they have
Yep.
Serie A in the French league as well. Just don't sign up for the subscription. It's a lot of clicks that they want you to make. You have to work your way around it for sure until you're finally
We had
in.
some people that were like, "Wait, what do you mean it's free?" Like, yeah, it's always been free.
Well,
They just ask
it
you to
wasn't the
subscribe.
first half of the first year they had it. So like I was
That's
paying
true. Yeah.
that it's an expensive subscription. But then as soon as they made it free, I was like, yeah, screw this. I don't need anything else on DAZN. I just need the women's game. So
and then the follow-up match, Wednesday, December 10, 1930 Central Europe, 1:30 Eastern time here in the States. I want to say this should be a rebound match. Just, I don't think we're going to have any problem winning it. I think it's going to be how we look doing it, which is going to be based on what happens against Bayern. We play well against Bayern, then we go on the road. We're going to dominate Nuremberg on the road. Now, if we have to go on the road after getting our asses kicked and having no confidence and being physically beat up for 90 minutes, then it might be more of a struggle. But I haven't seen enough fight out of Nuremberg. I only watched them twice, but I haven't seen enough fight out of them that worries me.
Yeah, I can't say I've watched a lot of their games either. I don't think DAZN is particularly interested in showing their games when they have other ones to show. So because obviously they generally only show one game a day, which is rather annoying. Don't get every single game. But yeah, it's not a good Nuremberg side. They're good enough that they'll stay up just because of how bad Jena and Essen have been, but
historically bad.
Yeah,
not as historically bad as last year. Potsdam really gave them a run for historically.
Yeah, I think they were. I think Potsdam was like historically the second worst ever Frauen Bundesliga team, maybe third. That was really bad. But yeah, there's no reason not to come out against Nuremberg and find a way to win or lose or draw against Bayern. Whatever happens, you just gotta come back a few days later. And if anything, if it's a thrashing that Bayern gives us, it's probably a good thing that we play Nuremberg just a few days later. Quick, reset, get that shit out of your mind.
So put on your tactical hat. Put on your tactical hat here. If you're down a couple goals to Bayern, are you rotating out? Keep legs fresh, keep them healthy?
I would say it depends. If you're only down 2, no, you try and chase the game. Because you want to show that you can compete against the big guns. You want to get points off of Bayern. If you're down 4 goals by 60 minutes, yeah, you're probably going to want to rest some of the big guns.
See, I'll chase 1 goal, but to a team that's only allowed 4 in the first half of the season, I'm not chasing 2 goals. Like, for me, that's out of hand.
That's fair. Have they allowed more than a single goal in any game? No. All 4 of their goals were all
single
goals, which funny enough, Köln, Essen have both scored against them, which they are lower on the table. And then their 1 draw was a 0-0 against Karl Zeiss Jena. So that's
they're kind of
interesting results
doing
there.
What the Frankfurt men are, where they just suck against the lower third teams, right?
Yeah, except for at least they're picking up every other point. So
yeah, in a dream scenario, we pick up 4 points there. Like that would be.
If we can get a draw against Bayern would be a win, in my opinion. Like that game really isn't about the points; it's about the performance for me.
Agreed. Now let's take a look at the men. First match is at Sugar Drink FC Leipzig, Saturday, December 6th,
Ugh.
18:30 Central Europe, 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time. That is ESPN Plus here in the United States. I don't know what it's on in other countries. I'm sure if you're listening to us, you know how to use Google. So go find it.
Oh,
I want this so bad. We
yeah.
need this so bad. We talked
It's
about dropping points to the bottom third. You got to make it up in the top third. And this is one of those matches. RB Leipzig, 26 points. They're
second
within
place,
striking
man.
distance. We're 5 points back of second.
Oh,
That's the thing. We're
yeah.
5 points. We're 5 spots back in the table from them, but we're only 5 points back. I mean, we've had no friendly help around the table for weeks. We haven't helped ourselves at all, but we're not getting help from our friends that we need help from. That's going to pivot. Water will level at some point, but we have to put ourselves in the right position to take advantage of that when it does. But
Yeah.
3 points at Leipzig here, I mean, could have ramifications across multiple competitions, but we can't look ahead to Barcelona and get caught flat-footed at Leipzig, right?
I don't think we're going to be looking ahead to Barcelona. I hope not. Honestly, at this point, I would say screw the Champions League. Just focus on the league. It's what's
100%.
important. It's what's important, right? Like, even if we are able to get a win at Barcelona, we still have to get a win in Azerbaijan. Then we have to get a win against Spurs. I'm not sure it's worth it to focus on that right now, especially with Burkhardt and Uzun injured. Focus on the league. Try and make Champions League through the league, and coming out having a statement performance and victory over RBL would do a lot in pushing for a Champions League spot for the end of the year. It's a massive opportunity against a Leipzig side that is unfortunately playing really well. So
My goal from the start of the season was to qualify for Champions League through the league.
mhm.
I said we'll know that we're real competitors in this league when we qualify for Champions League twice in a row through the table. And
I
a
would
win
say
here.
maybe 3. I want more than a couple, you know.
I'm not saying we'll be competing for the title at that
No, for
point,
sure.
but it will be an arrival. I mean, it's hard
Mhm.
to do that unless you're the Dortmunds, the Bayerns, the Leipzigs. It's hard to repeat qualify.
Yeah, I
You
mean,
know,
you saw that with Gladbach and you saw that with Schalke when they
yes,
qualified, and
yes.
even Stuttgart. So it's really hard,
Yep.
and it will go a long way in helping the goals of the club in order to qualify for Champions League through the league
It
again.
also sends a message to the players you're trying to sign, because I
Absolutely.
think there's a certain element of people that the headlines in the last couple of years, or last year when we qualified for Champions League, first time back in was it first time back in like 50
Just
years, right? First time
well,
back with a new Champions League name. I'm saying after our European title.
right,
We
right,
had like 50 years between playing that top
right.
competition. And then
Yeah.
the headline last year was first time qualifying through the league, right?
hmm
So it's always been this first time thing.
Yeah.
But if that headline changes now and Frankfurt qualifies for Champions League again, then it becomes less of a storyline of that being unique, and it becomes more of the standard. And as soon as we
Absolutely.
make that qualification the standard, and the players believe that they can come here and do that, that
hmm
quality of player that wants to be here or
It's
stay here
Yeah,
goes up.
it's absolutely game changing. Players want to play in the Champions League, and it makes recruitment a lot easier. I think that's why Ritsu Doan wanted to come. Right, he wanted to play in Champions League. That's why he was linked with us in Dortmund for so long. And it not only helps in terms of allowing players to play on the biggest stage, it's a lot of money too. I think you get more money just for qualifying for the league phase than if you were to go on to win the Europa League. Right. So I think it's around 25 million euros or so. It might even be more now. that helps also in player recruitment and in allowing us to pay somewhat higher salaries. You don't want to get too caught up like some other clubs have, but in order to hopefully retain some players here and there. But
yeah. I mean, we've seen what getting too confident after a qualification can do.
Yep.
Stuttgart spent tons of money, and they're slowly recovering from it. But that's one of the teams we're trying to chase down too.
Yeah.
And I think that if we can leverage our experience in tight tables, it wasn't that tight until it was last year.
Yeah, right. We kind of almost gave it away.
If we can leverage our experience in managing tight tables, I agree with you that the league is far more important than Champions League at this point. We're not a serious threat to make a deep run in Champions League. So this isn't, Oliver Glasner, all the eggs in one basket there in Europe. This is all eggs in the Bundesliga basket right now. There's still plenty of time. We still have 2/3 of the season left to do it, but there's also a sizable gap behind us, sizable being 5 points. But
which is our gap to second. So
yes. So there is a clear top third of that table, and solidifying our spot there rather quickly would be a good thing. Now, this is a chance to do that because you beat Leipzig this weekend, jump to 24 points. There's a good chance that you're in a European position again. And then with a couple matches before the break, I really want to be in that position where we can feel confident for 3 weeks off. Too many times we've had that bad taste in the mouth, and it makes Christmas miserable. Our end of year episode, our last episode with the winter break, is always my favorite because it's like, are we going to be happy or sad for the next 3 weeks? It's never a easy show to predict because it's like, oh, the transfer window can't get here soon enough, or I love it, we're going to win the whole damn thing.
I think even if things go our way, which maybe they won't this week, but the last 2 matches before that pause are very winnable games, hopefully. Don't want to get overconfident. I still think I want that transfer window to come. We need to make some moves, and I think part of that is also shedding players as well who just aren't getting the minutes and aren't contributing. But
I would argue that this match specifically against a team that's solidly at the top 2 of the table, I think it's one of those matches that shows us what we have more than any other. It's a good measuring stick against a team we're trying to track down here. We know they're better. They played so much better. Even though there's a 5-point gap, they probably played 10 points better than us this year, just being more consistent. But if we can go out there and steal 3 points, I think Croatia becomes a little more comfortable with the idea of spending because you're saying, hey, we're not just fighting for Europe, we're fighting for Champions League again, and we're in the thick of it. No, you lose this one and you lose against Barcelona midweek, then you're like, hey, this becomes a solid losing streak.
No, it's a really, really important game. Obviously, table implications the most, but also for our we need to see something out of our defense and midfield against some very good attacking talent from Leipzig. They lost a lot over the summer, and like they unfortunately always do, they found their replacements and they're playing very well. And they have the speed, they have the skill to absolutely torch us if they want to. And it's really up to us to find a way to make it work and not let that happen this weekend.
Tell me the names to look out for on their side.
Well, this guy Romulo, I had no idea who he was before they signed him, but he's been really solid. Johan Bakayoko, who they got from PSV, he's extremely talented. I know that they had Oe Drago last year, but I think he got injured, so he's kind of just breaking out this year. And then Antonio Nusa is kind of the other one I'm eyeing. Norwegian.
That's pretty stacked, though. that's that's a lot of different people that can hurt us.
Yeah, and I mean there are some more players in there that could, but
The problem is we look at who we have to put out there against it, like player for player, they're better than we are.
Yeah, they absolutely are.
We have to exploit the right place on the pitch, and from week to week, I have no idea where that advantage could possibly come from.
Yeah.
It's an unfortunate position. What do you predict for a final there?
Jeez. I'm going to go with 2-1 for a loss here. I think they're on a different level than us right now. Obviously, I hope for better, but I just don't know if I'm confident in our squad right now and with how the defense is played. I know it was better against Wolfsburg, but there were times that Amora was running circles around our guys, but he just had no one else to work with because Wolfsburg just doesn't have those options. Leipzig does. And so I just fear that they're going to be able to take advantage of some of our miscues here and there.
Yeah, I was going to say 2-1, but I think I'm going to change that up now because I let you go first and I can't do that. So I'm gonna say we lose 1-0. I haven't seen enough offense lately to tell me we can score against a good team. Their defensive record pretty good, only 13 goals allowed through 12 matches. Third best in the league.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, and we're not exactly lighting it up on offense. I mean,
no. We were early in the year, but
we are technically that's kind of deceiving if you look at the table. But like I said, we've got one match with more than one goal over the last month, and that's not going to cut it against the better team. So I think a 1-0 loss to the caffeinated beverages up in Leipzig it's going to sting because it's in a league and it's a precarious spot in the schedule. But I don't think it's an expected victory. If we're going XG and XVs here, it's not an expected victory. So we just try to play our best and steal a point if we can.
Yeah, and obviously I will be hoping for a win. I think we have the capability to pull out a victory in this match, but we have to play at our absolute best against that side. Nothing less is really going to get it done.
There is this crazy bitch we call the Moody Diva. She has another side. It's not always ugly. There's a pretty side to that face too. And if there was ever a week where I would just love to see that, it would be this one.
Yes.
Because after going to Leipzig, we go right back on the road. Maybe stop home to do a load of laundry, but then it's on the road to Barcelona. Tuesday, December 9th, 1900 Central European Time, 3 p.m. here in the States. Paramount Plus here in the United States. I haven't seen a broadcast schedule if it's going to be on CBS Sports or not. It could be. I can see it being
that one could be. I haven't looked at the rest of the matches though.
Yeah, but count on Paramount Plus here in the States. Barcelona is the top of the table right now. Camp Nou is back open. Yeah.
They're not top of the table in the Champions League right now, but yeah.
Right. They're back in Camp Nou, which is absolutely stunning. If you haven't seen the new Camp Nou, Google it. It is beautiful. Like, it's amazing for a club that was like $2 billion in debt 2 years ago. They spent $1 billion on their stadium, and I'm not good at math, but $2 billion plus $2 billion. Like, how much is Spotify paying them to put their name on it?
It's a lot. It might even be $1 billion. I don't know if it's quite that much, but I know that Spotify is.
Cancel your Spotify, so maybe we have a chance to win.
No, but I know that like they were selling, suites for like 30 years or something, and pulling a bunch of different broadcast rights deals. I mean, the economic levers, as they call it, that they've pulled in order to make it work. That just opened last month or so, right? Yeah. So. Yeah, that'll be an interesting one. I don't think we're gonna get the fan support we got the last time we faced them in Europe.
That's why they had to rebuild it, because it left such a bad taste in their mouth. It stank of German, what's the word, domination. That match will always stick in my head.
Oh my
Anytime
God,
I
yeah.
see, I mean, even when we're not playing and I see Barcelona on TV or wherever, like I don't think I'll ever forget that match, and it
No,
was just perfect.
it was. Yeah.
The thing is, we're gonna have to be perfect to have a similar result this time around. They're a good side.
They're really good. They're honestly more than really good. They're excellent. Better teams than us are able to take advantage of their high line. Maybe Knauf and Bahoya can find their way behind it, but you need a proven finisher as well in there, and I'm just not sure if we quite have that to put the damage on Barcelona that is there available. And then of course their attacking talent is just, it's not second to none, because obviously Real Madrid has got an amazing front line, but it's damn near it.
Yeah. Chelsea showed the blueprint to beat them a few weeks back. I watched a little bit of that, just trying to understand who Barcelona is. Chelsea kind of outmuscled them. Kind of not very much a Premier League, or not really much the Spanish style of play, where they're more open and flowing. They got a little bit more gritty, which the Bundesliga tends to be pretty good at, being quite physical. If we could be more aggressive, granted, we don't have a lot of size on our side. Our lineup
Right.
is fairly
Yeah.
thin and fairly short.
Mhm.
But if we can just muscle them around, I'm fine taking a few cards along the way. It doesn't really matter. I don't think we're
No.
serious competitors in the Champions League, but if we can make them uncomfortable and take them out of their flow, slow the game down and make it really choppy, I think we might have a chance. I don't think we have the horses to score enough goals to win, but I think we could pull a draw if we play the right game.
Yeah, it's
Probably won't help us in the Champions League table at all, though.
I mean, it would be a boost, because of course this is by far the most difficult match we have left in the Champions League. Not that the other two are going to be easy.
Yeah.
But certainly if we were to pull out a victory here, then there's hope restored in the squad that, hey, get the job done against Carabao and against Tottenham. Maybe you can, play that playoff. And I don't know if we get out of that, but the possibilities there if we were to do that. I don't think it's going to happen, though.
A win here sets us up in a good position. A loss basically eliminates us, and a draw just
it
draws
pretty much
things out a little bit
eliminates
longer.
us, I think.
Yeah.
A draw, just because then our maximum points would be 11, and with the goal difference, I'm not sure it's going to be enough. I think we need 12 points if we want to actually advance.
But also,
Or
I don't
13,
want to,
or whatever.
I don't want to empty the tank by any means either,
No,
because
no.
then we have Augsburg like 4 days later. So
No, and like I said before, I want priority to be the league. Don't try against Barcelona, but if it's really not going our way, I don't see a reason to go, full guns blazing for the last 30 minutes if we're losing like 3-0 or something.
Yeah. And that's the difference. So like I'll chase anything against Leipzig, but I'm going to play it smart against Barcelona, because the goals are starting to become really clear as we get closer to the end of the calendar year. I think we're going to know exactly who we are 10 days from now. And where that begins is these two matches, I think, very pivotal in Leipzig and Barcelona. Anything else to add here on these? How about a prediction for Barcelona?
I'll go 3-1 Barcelona. I just think they're good enough to beat us pretty easily.
The lack of goals being scored continues to be an issue for us. Just, where's the offense coming from? Who's going to generate the offense? Who's going to finish off the goals? Would love to see Christensen go, become a goal scorer again.
Right. He almost had that one against Wolfsburg when he put that cross, pretty like right inside. Unfortunately, Grabara didn't make that save, but yeah, it would be nice. Goals need to come from somewhere.
I'll give us 2 goals in that one, but I think we lose 4-2. I mean, going into a hostile Camp Nou is not going to be easy, and it's kind of, I don't know if this is their first Champions League game back there. If their
I want to say
game against Chelsea was home or away, I'm not sure.
Chelsea was away and Club Brugge was away. So against Olympiacos was it was at the Olympic Stadium. So this is the first Champions League.
It's going to be a special night there for sure, which I think won't make it any easier for Frankfurt. But you know what?
Maybe the occasion will get to them.
Yeah, there you go. It's gonna be a weird week. There's gonna be a lot of roller coaster in the next 7-8 days here. But I think once we get through this, you mentioned the end of the year, things ease up a little bit on both sides of the building. Yeah. We'll be back next week. We're not going anywhere. Win, lose, draw. You might need to take your month off. I got my month off. You might have to take.
I mean, I pretty much took October off, so
No, it's hard. Someone on Discord messaged me. They're like, "Hey, I haven't heard you in a while." Like, it's hard. Life gets in the way. Like,
it does.
I mean, we're trying here. It's fun. But we're going to talk next week, and hopefully we're talking about how much our predictions were awful because we win. But get in touch with the show on X at HEFpod, Blue Sky the same, Facebook the same. All those can be found. All the links to those and other things can be found at linktr.com/HEFpod. If you're listening to this, check us out on YouTube, where you can see our beautiful faces. And I've got some stuff lined up for like graphics for tables and stuff, but I need to stop doing my day job so we can just do this for a living. Hey, Spotify, come pay for us. We're a lot cheaper to sponsor than fucking Barcelona. I would take a Nuclear sponsorship too. Shout out EFC Wisconsin over there. We'll have to talk to Jason to hook us up with a Nuclear sponsorship. Yeah. Some cheese curd Toberfest from Goldberg. All right, man. It's good talking to you. Hope you enjoy the games, and we'll talk next week.
Absolutely.
Eintracht Frankfurt, la 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 la. Hey, Eintracht Frankfurt, la 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 la.